my favorite song that he does.
Of course, get them again. Okay, thank you.
As time has unfolded me, it has revealed to me life nothing less than sublime. With every thought I make, every last breath I take, may I be gracious and kind. Love, I invite you to open up this heart of mine. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Kindness wash over me, make me a symphony, play every note you can find. Make me reverberate, gently deactivate, slowly flow out of my mind. Find me a melody, dance and let my anthem be. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love, cover me. 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 I will not be shaken. I will not be moved. Love, cover me. May my heart awaken, tender and be proved. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. Love, I invite you to open up this heart of mine. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Love, 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 love. Ooh, love, 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 love.
Good morning. Quoting Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, "It seems the world has taken a nightmare pill." Turn on the television, pick up a newspaper, or scan social media, and you will likely see what one researcher has referred to as the unrelenting flow of negativity. This continual barrage of negativity has engendered a sense of fear and helplessness among the masses that is causing many to see the world as a dark, dangerous, and cruel place. As spiritual seekers and religious scientists, we know a greater truth transcends the sense of separation that is creating and feeding this nightmare. We also know that it is done unto us as we believe. Humanity is at a critical juncture. We cannot allow ourselves to be deluded by this nightmare. It is time for those of us who are conscious, who are awake, and who are aware to claim the truth that is superior to the condition. We are being called to remember and live from the truth of wholeness, unconditional love, and unconditional peace. Each of us is being called to be the change we want to see in the world. If we wish to see more love, more compassion, and more kindness, we must be the embodiment of more love, more compassion, and more kindness. The Bible says, "Ask and it is given, seek and you shall find." Principle tells us we look for kindness, we will find it. As we embody and share kindness, it will grow and spread, dispelling the darkness. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And from Ernest Holmes, we must not be disturbed by the contradiction of objective experience. We shall have to know that the truth we announce is superior to the condition which it is to change. We shall have to see that God in us recognizes God in the other person until the God in the other person recognizes the God in us. This cannot be done by human will. It is only when we recognize the pure essence of the spiritual principle inherent and incarnate in each of us that we find that the thought arising from the atmosphere of a spiritual realization has no adversary, no opposition. Let's take these ideas and thoughts into prayer. The news of the day calls us more than ever to remember who we truly are. And that there is one thing happening, one presence and one power in the universe, one presence and one power expressing in me, as me, and through me. And this singular presence, this singular power is God, the good, unconditional love, expressing in, as, and through every one of us, all that we see, all that we feel, hear, smell, and think. God and unconditional love. This unconditional love is more powerful than any apparent condition, any apparent effect in the world. The power of Spirit is superior to all conditions. And Spirit responds to our innermost feelings, our predominant thought patterns, and our core beliefs. And we believe that love is why we are here. Everything is either an expression of love or a cry for love. When we hear expressions of love, we bless them with more love. When we hear cries for love, we bless them with more love. Love is the answer. And knowing that love is the power behind the entire universe, we need to merely remind ourselves of this and allow it to happen through us. Knowing this is done, knowing this truth is so, I release it into the law that always works. And with gratitude and agreement, please please help me ground this by saying, and so it is. Join me in welcoming Reverend Shel Redfern.
I gotta say, I was shocked that this was a subject that would come from Home Office, being kind in a cruel world. A cruel world? It doesn't seem like a very religious science thing to say, does it? The being kind part, sure, but in a cruel world? And I'm looking at how everything lined up today, and knowing that Spirit is so present with how things have unfolded. And I'll tell you what I mean. So first of all, look at the picture. I picked that out 2 months ago. 2 months ago. And look at what's going on outside. So that's kind of interesting. John was supposed to do the song that he sang this week, last week. But he sang it this week. And it is a perfect song for this message. It's just absolutely perfect for what's behind it. And all week long, there have been conversations going on in leadership about what's going on in the world and how we as a community look at that, what do we do about it, what is our role in that, and what that is all about. There have been conversations about protests and marches and taking stands, and it's been an ongoing conversation. There's a lot going on in the world. And so I would like to speak to all of that today and let you guys know where I'm coming from on this. I'm going to be clean here too. There have been some statements that have been released from Home Office, that press releases, that in my mind are politically geared. So I have not shared them with the community because, quite frankly, I don't agree with where they're coming from. And if you'd like to see them, I'm happy to share them. And what I am so proud of in our community is we park the politics at the door. And we come in here and we talk about, learn about, share what we know to be true. And what we talk about, learn about, and share that we know to be true is that God is all there is. And that God shows up in many, many forms, in many, many beliefs. And all of them are God. All of them are God. That was rough for me this past week with the stuff that happened in Charlottesville. I really didn't know anything about it. I knew that something had happened. I knew it was racially based. I knew that there was some people killed. I do not watch the news. I do not read the news. I don't watch the news. None of it. I don't. Because I'm very conscious of my thoughts. And I'm very conscious of my predominant thought. And I need my predominant thought to be of love and of peace and of harmony and of wholeness and of perfection, so that when I step up here on Sunday, that's where I'm living from. I have to live from there. That's my job as a human and definitely as a spiritual director here. I have to hold that high watch. And I think as a community that we all can take that role and bring it to the world, because that is what will change the world. More people thinking from there. What occurred to me about what happened in Charlottesville is even our belief structure here is we honor all love. Whether it's same-sex, different sex, it doesn't matter, it's love. We honor all love, all relationships that way. We honor all people, color on your skin. This is a spacesuit that we put on for a little while, and then we put it down. It doesn't matter. We all bleed when we're cut. We're all in a human form. We're all experiencing different things. The prejudice and the bigotry there was horrible. And every single person is still God. I'm trying to find a space for that inside myself. Do you know? And but I need to recognize that they're brothers and sisters and parents of people too. I don't agree with what they were doing. But they are God too. this week, Reverend Cindy Grimes actually did the research and provided the notes for the talk for Home Office this week. And she did a brilliant job of it. And again, this talk was written about a year ago. I'm writing a talk for next year for Home Office. Mine is going to be in September. It's due in October, the very end of October. Everybody has to turn their talks in to Home Office so that they can be available for the ministers all over the world. And so that's where I take my talk titles from, that's where I take my notes. And often I'll just take a quote or two, but this one is largely Cindy's work, so I want to give her credit. What David read this morning was Cindy's introduction to the talk, and it was stunning, wasn't it? It was absolutely stunning. And she wrote this over a year ago, not knowing what was going to be going on right now. It's kind of interesting. Research shows that negative news stories outnumber positive news stories 17 to 1. 17 to 1. We are being barraged with negativity. Totally barraged with negativity. If you look at your own life here today now, are the incidents in your life 17 to 1 negative? Oh, heck no. Geez, no. But here's the thing. What we have forgotten, because news is so prevalent, it's so easy to get to, it's all over the place, the same stories over and over, is what we've forgotten is that news, by definition, covers extreme and exceptional circumstances. That's why they call it news. That's what makes it newsworthy. It's different. It's not the norm. It's extreme and exceptional circumstances, not what's generally going on. And here they're outnumbered, positive to negative 17 to 1, and the news is on like every half hour on the half hour, on the radio, on the TV, busting into your soap operas. I have a friend who's so upset about that lately. Watching her soap opera, and the news keeps big in on her soap opera and ruining everything. Cracks me right up. But it's true. So we have an opportunity here to reframe what we're seeing, and if you choose to watch the news, remember it's extreme and exceptional. Extreme and exceptional. That's what makes it newsworthy. I wish it was 17 to 1 extreme exceptional kindness that got into the news. That I'd watch. For sure. For sure. Here's a study done by Dr. Graham Davey that I think we need to pay some close attention to. Negative news can affect your own personal worries. It's why we have to develop an awareness about what we're feeding our mind. Negative news can affect your own personal worries. Viewing negative news means that you're likely to see your own personal worries as more threatening and severe. And when you start worrying about them, you're more likely to find your worry difficult to control and more distressing than it would normally be. So not only are we filling our brain with negative images, negative stories, negative thoughts, what that does is it amplifies what's happening in our life and makes it feel like it's out of control. Again, it's that filter. We're creating a filter to look at the world through that is anchored in violence and negativity instead of love and understanding. And it taints the view of what we're seeing. And it contributes to our ability or inability to cope with what's going on in our own life. Just watching or listening to something negative. But that makes sense. If we think about our teaching, what we pay attention to, it amplifies. So if we're paying attention to negative news, what's negative in our life is going to amplify, not on its own, but in our thinking. And therefore, our approach to it is going to change, and our approach to other people is going to change, and everything's going to change because we're viewing it through that lens. Does this make sense? Yep. This stuff is far-reaching. This stuff is so far-reaching. It's not even about just our own experiences. Coming up next month, Reverend David will be doing 2 of the talks. I'll be doing 2 of the talks, and they're about how it's not just about us. That what happens in us, through us, as us, affects the entire world. And this is part of it. This is a Holmes quote. Ultimately, we will see that the universe rests on the shoulders of love. That God is love. And that all the errors of man are a result of ignorance of his own true nature. Ignorance. Ignorance. People don't know. People don't know how truly powerful they are. They don't have to hurt others to own their own power. They don't have to they don't have to do anything but love and be. That's where the power is. That's where God is. It's everywhere present. It's wherever they are. They just don't know it. So they're looking for a way to have power in their life and selecting some interesting avenues. Holmes continues. The happy outlook on life is always constructive. The understanding heart is always filled with sympathy and helpfulness towards all, towards everybody, regardless. The evolved soul judges no one and condemns no one. Nobody. Even those we don't agree with and we're standing on ground saying that is just straight up wrong. Judges no one, condemns no one, but realizes that all are on the road of experience seeking the same goal, and that each must ultimately find his home in heaven. Now, in this space, what is heaven? In science of mind, what is heaven? Is it someplace up there that we strive to get to?
It's right here.
It's right here, right now. It's a state of being. Heaven is a state of being. It's a state of being, and it's right where we are. And it's our choice to plant a tent, pitch a tent there, or in victimhood, or in anger, or wherever we choose to live. Our choice. Our choice. Steven Pinkerman and Andrew Mack write in Slate, which is a book, that violence has actually decreased and the quality of life has improved for millions of people. They say that the balance of negativity and positivity, if that's a word, in the news is dead wrong. And what they point out is they go, look at, it used to be a game to put 2 people in an arena and have them literally kill each other. That was a game. And that went on for multiple generations, many, many peoples. Right now, violence has actually decreased. The number, did I put this on the slides? Nope. The number of deaths resulting from violent means has decreased greatly. But we wouldn't know that based on what we see on the news. I find that fascinating. And then when he started pointing out examples like, that in slavery, it's been 150 years since slavery existed here in the United States. That's not very long. But the violence has actually decreased. That's amazing. Another Holmes quote. To realize that God is ever present, ever available, is to know that all the wisdom, intelligence, and power of the universe is right where you are. All of it in its entirety is right where we are. This is why everything in your life depends upon your belief. It is done unto you as you believe. At the end of the quote that the Reverend David read, that was a Holmes quote as well. The same thing. Let me grab my glasses here. I think it cracks me up that he takes his glasses off and everybody else puts their glasses on. We must not be disturbed by the contradiction of objective experience. In other words, we can't be disturbed by what's going on around us. Even if it contradicts totally and completely what we believe or know to be true. We shall have to know the truth we announce is superior to the condition which we want to change. We shall have to see that God in us recognizes God in another person until the God in the other person recognizes the God in us. Isn't that a fantastic statement?
Yes.
I love that. I love that. This cannot be done by human will. We can't force this with our will. This cannot be done by human will. It is only when we recognize the pure essence of the spiritual principle inherent and incarnate in each of us that we find that the thought arising from the atmosphere of spiritual realization has no adversary. There is nothing against it. Nothing against it. So what do we believe? I believe in the power of prayer. I believe that the power of prayer changes things on a level that is so much greater than what is going on in form. I completely believe that. And if you guys would like to start to have prayer vigils for peace and for love and compassion, in support of bringing this into the world, and based on what's going on in the world today, I'm all for it. Sign me up. I'll add it. If you would like to see that emerge, let's do it. I'm all about it. Thank you for the great idea, Reverend Vicky. Oh. Practitioner Vicky. Could happen. Change your belief and you can change the world. It's up to us. It's up to us to turn away from negativity and turn towards God, turn towards good, turn towards love, pray, knowing what the truth is. That underneath all this chaos, we are whole, perfect, and complete. And that perfection is trying to make itself known. It is. It is. So, prayer group might be part of it, but I have another idea as well. What can we do? I think we should do a CSLCC 21-day kindness challenge. I have sign-up sheets out in the lobby. And what this is in doing all the research for this talk and so on, I found a great site where every single day it will email out a specific act of kindness, an assignment for you to do that day. Now, what happens when you do something for 21 days? It becomes a habit. What happens when a group of somebody does something for 21 days?
Change the world.
It changes the world. does. It does. So I invite you all to sign up for our 21-day kindness challenge. And not only sign up for it, stay and do it. I'm going to be in England for part of my 21-day kindness challenge, so I'm bringing the kindness out into the world at large. Isn't it cool? Yep. We
I'll
can.
report back if she's kind after a 12-hour plane ride.
Good news here, it's only 8 hours. 8 hours out, 9.5 hours back. Isn't that crazy? We gained an hour and a half on the way back. That's crazy. Anyway, I digress. I'm just a little excited about going to England, so.
When are you supposed to start? Is there going to be a start date and an end date on that?
Yes. I'm going to actually, the question was, is there going to be a start date and end date on that? Yes. I'm going to start it next weekend so that I can send out an e-blast and invite people that didn't make it here today because there's flooding all over the place. I'm very happy we were able to get over here. This road was completely flooded out yesterday. A lot of people, I got 3 texts this morning of people that were stuck in home because of the flooding. So, welcome, glad to see all you guys made it. And yeah, anyway, so I will email that out and then put everybody that responds to that on the list so and I'll give them the week to respond. So, next weekend, 21 days. Does that work for you guys? Yeah? You guys got it all signed up?
Yes.
Good. Let's change this world. Let's do it. It starts and ends with us, and we can do something. Let's pray together. Let's be kind together. Let's do it. I invite you to claim this with me in prayer. Claim, anchor. Ugh. My word bank is just shot today. So settling into the right here, right now. Let's know together that there is just one thing going on. I call it God. I call it by many names. I call it peace. I call it love. I call it joy. I call it acceptance. How can we name something that is greater than anything that we have ever known? And it is so peaceful and so loving and so awesome. And it is in, through, and as each one of us, go back to what I said last week, I know that God is more than I am, but I also know that God is all that I am. All that I am is God. God is greater than all that I am, but all that I am is God. And today I create a conscious opening for this love, the peace, this kindness to flow through me by means of me out into the world. I know that it is changing the world. I know this. And I invite each and every one of us to move forward from here today, actively seeking the positive, actively looking through the lens of love, compassion, kindness, and thus changing the world, inviting more God to show up right here, right now. I know that's what's happening here, and I am so grateful. And it is in this gratitude and celebration that I let go and let God. It is done. And so it is.